So I was thinking about the school shooting in Texas. A lot to think about, obviously. But I was thinking about one aspect of it as I've heard people talking about it, that I think there might be something to learn from, or at least something to dig into and see what's there. I was thinking about there are some people who hear that happened and they think we need armed security guards at our schools. That's the answer. That's what we need. And they're emotionally charged about it, understandably so. And to them, that's the solution that works. There's other people that look at it and say, guns are the problem. We don't need more guns. We don't need our kids' schools to feel like a prison where there's armed security all around it. We need better gun control. And, you know, I think there's way more collaboration and unification than we see and hear on social media or the media in general. But I do think there is a divide. And that's just one aspect of it, right? That's one example. But when I think about that, I think what's important to realize is what's at the root of it on both sides. I think what happens is the person that thinks that armed security guard needs to be there, again, they're emotionally charged, they're excited, they're passionate about it, it's important. So they feel really strongly that's the answer. The people on the other side feel really strongly that gun control is the answer. And this divide causes conflict, causes tension, causes combativeness. You know, how could you think an armed security guard is the answer? How naive are you? How ignorant are you? How do you not see it this way? And vice versa, right? How could you think guns are the problem? It's not, guns are just guns. We need more protection. We need more safety in our school or in our schools. We gun control laws, all that stuff, that's not the issue. And although there's a lot to be discussed and debated about what actually is the issue, what actually are the solutions, this video, this insight that maybe is there, isn't in no way to indicate that like there's an obvious answer or one or the other is necessarily wrong. The important point, I think, is to remember the ultimate root objective of both of those arguments. And again, those are just a microcosm. There's a whole different host of areas that debate can go, and other debates for that matter. But the reason that person wants an armed security guard in that school is not because they're an asshole, is not because they're a Republican or a Democrat, it's not because they're a conservative or a liberal, it's not because they're white or black or Latino or gay or straight or transgender or cisgender. It's not because of an agenda. It's because they want their fucking kids to be safe. And vice versa. The people that want more gun control laws, they don't want an armed security guard. They think politicians need to do a better job. We need more regulation. We need more mental health screening, whatever it is. Likewise, that's not because they're a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative or a liberal and on and on and on. It's because they want their fucking kids to be safe. That's what everybody's after. Now, we have different views of how to get there. And that's okay, and those things need to be worked out and debated. That's not, we don't live in an idealistic world where everybody sees it the same or everybody has the clear answer and we just do it. We don't always know the answers. That's not the point. The point is to remember what's at the root of it. We want our fucking kids to be safe. And somebody might call this idealistic, but I don't think it is. I think remembering that and understanding that, hey, the reason that person's so passionate, the reason why they're so excited and they're posting on social media that this is bullshit and we need armed security guards at our school, or again, vice versa, we need more gun controllers. The reason why people are doing that is because they want their kids to be safe. Just like you do. Just like that other person does. Just like that other person who has a different vision or view of how we get there. If we remember that, that's what we care. We want our kids to be safe. How do we get there? I don't know. Maybe you know, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Bring your idea. Let's all bring all the ideas. But it's because we want our kids to be safe. That's where the passion comes from. That's where the fire comes from. because it's that important. We're talking about our kids' lives. Of course, if you've run the analysis and in your head, for whatever reason, maybe limited information, maybe what, it doesn't matter. Maybe you've thought through all of it. If you've come to the conclusion that the way I keep my kids safe and your kids safe and everybody's kids safe, the way I don't have to look at the news again and see 18 children shot in a 4th grade classroom is that you put an armed security guard there, of course I'm going to be fired up. Of course I'm going to be passionate. Of course I'm going to post it on social media. Of course I'm going to have conviction about it. And if I believe the answer is gun control and mental health screening and changing the laws and changing the Second Amendment, of course I'm going to be excited about it. Of course I'm going to be passionate. I want my kids safe. I want your kids safe. I want all kids safe. I don't want to have to see that news article again. And I think if we can remember that, if we can remember that root, we want our kids safe. That's why. It's not fucking about you. It's not about your political beliefs. It's not about my political beliefs. It gets twisted, right? And we're responsible for it. Sometimes we allow it to get twisted. Sometimes we allow ourselves to get pulled into the political debates and discussions. Sometimes we get pulled into it because of the way social media works or the media works. But it's not about that. It's about making our kids safe. So of course there's passion. Of course there's disagreement. Of course there's a lot of conviction. There's a lot of fire that goes into it because it's about our kids. But if we can keep that underlying sentiment, that underlying understanding of what we're all after, the odds of us getting to a better solution, figuring out a way that actually is the answer, that does help keep our kids safe, that does help start having to read these stories in the news or see this on the news, is so much higher. So if we really do want our kids to be safe, take the time to remember, so do they. So does he, so does she, so does whoever. They may see a different path to get there, but we all just want that. And if we can remember that, maybe we can focus our energy on actually solving the problem rather than just fighting with each other.